Hello, we're back.
Yes, we are. Number 94.
94, and I'm Judy.
I'm Carol.
I'm Peggy.
And we're the
Wildflowers.
Okay.
You know, you came up with the name Wildflowers, didn't you?
Yes, you did.
Did I?
It was your name,
Was
yeah.
it? Okay.
And then after,
I
I don't know. I always thought I wouldn't have picked it. Remember after we picked it, there was so many Wildflower podcasts.
There were.
So many of them. So, and a lot of them
But we didn't
were like
know about
religious. No.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I did think of a couple of months ago. I said, "Oh, that would have been a good name
Which
for us."
one?
I don't remember, but I was very impressed with it.
Well, it's typical us. We don't do our research, and so we just we're coming up with a bunch of things.
Yeah.
And then it was only after we agreed that we were like, oh, there's other.
Yeah, that's fine.
I know.
I think it describes us very well, actually.
Yes, it does. And when I do like hashtags, when I promote the Wildflowers podcast.
I always share it when you share it.
I don't understand
I'm not
hashtags.
on a lot of social media. I don't go on X. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on Instagram.
That's something I want to talk
you are
about.
on TikTok. You are.
Yeah, I belong to it, but I don't really know how to do anything on it.
Well, no, I don't do much on
I'm not on
TikTok because it probably won't.
Well, now it's not going to be around
And I'm
anymore.
not sure I'm going to be on
unless
Facebook
they sell the
much
company.
longer, to be honest.
Oh.
I am so mad at that asshole.
I'm very upset with
Like,
what's
he's
going
not
on.
fact checking
And
now.
I'm really,
I know.
and also not, that he's taking away protections for women on rights on there. I'm just like, you know what? I'm really very close to walking away from it. I'm not on social media except for Facebook.
Right.
I think I have an Instagram. I think I do, but I don't know how to get into it, so I don't use it. So,
well, Instagram is Facebook.
I understand. So I think that's how I got into it at first, but I don't post anything. I don't even know what my name is on there. But I'm really I'm this close to walking away.
I don't do a lot on, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I don't do a lot on Facebook. Once in a while I put something political. If I read an article in the New York Times on Mount Falls, I'll post it on Facebook. But normally I don't.
I do
really
2 or 3 a day, but only because of my career as a writer.
Yes.
But there are a lot of writers who are walking away from Facebook lately. I read an article about them.
Threads, that's another one.
Yeah. Because of just how hypocritical it is.
Yeah.
To their profession, to your profession.
Oh yeah.
And then to say we're not going to fact check.
Yeah, no.
It's really insulting, and I'm really upset about it. I meant to bring this up at the last podcast, but I'm glad we're talking. Just bring it up now, just to think about it. But the only reason why I'm on there these days, I go on there to read groups. I don't even get to see people's posts because nothing comes up from my friends anymore. I barely see anything from my friends. It's always ads, or I'll get the groups, which I don't mind because I'm only on groups really that I like.
Right.
But I go, why am I on here now? Yeah. So I have, in order to get posts or see posts from individual friends, I have to make a conscious effort now to go find that friend.
I wonder why.
Yeah, and nothing really comes up anymore for friends.
That's wow.
So I'm really upset about the way it's going, and now even more so. So I think you'll see me drop off there in a little bit. Yeah. But anyway.
I never see you on Facebook anyway, so. I mean, I'm not on a lot, sometimes I go on, I just look at notifications, and I had a weird guy, and then I reported him to Facebook, and they said, no, we're not going to do anything because it wasn't against our standards. But the guy was like, I don't even know who he is. He's not a friend or a friend of a friend.
He was a troll.
He was trolling me, and Carol would make a comment. It was always political.
Yes.
But, why? I don't need you to make comments to me.
Yeah, if they go on mine and they say nasty things, I delete them. But, I won't go. A couple of times I've gone into somebody else's, but I've been very polite, and try to bring out my...
with them,
But other than that, if they're on mine and they're rude, they get deleted.
Yeah.
Or I let them bury themselves. because I let everybody go after them because a lot of my friends do go after them.
I just totally ignored him. He did it, I think,
Which I
3
think is the
times.
best thing.
And then I haven't seen anything from him again.
You
Oh,
know.
see, and I must have missed all of it because I'm not getting your posts. It's really hard. I'm not getting a lot of
Do you
that.
look in notifications or?
I get, like, I'll show you what I do. Like, I'll see it on, like, I get the app, right? And then, so I can go on, and then I'll see sometimes here, notifications. I'll see I have 4, so I'll go in there.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll just see, but like, look, you guys are not coming up on here. This is like a group here.
Yeah, I didn't post
Well, I
that
think that
today.
you have to scroll too. You go to your home.
But I do look,
And
here's
scroll,
a group I'm part of.
yeah.
Oh, here's somebody. No, here's a group, add,
Wow.
group. Oh, there's somebody. Add. Like,
Okay.
and so I get tired of it and I go stop it. I don't want to do it.
No, you gotta value your time and whatever works for you is fine.
Oh well.
But anyway, and what else are we gonna talk about?
Oh, you know what? I looked up something interesting about life expectancy.
Oh.
And in 1880, the life expectancy was 40 years old.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine that when you think about that?
We would have outlived our
Yes.
lifespan. Like,
And then in 1905, it went up to 50 years old.
Wow.
Then in 1935, 60 years old. And in 1970, it went up to 70 years old. And now it's just under 80.
But it's dropping now.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. That the life
And is that
expectancy.
for just America or in general?
This was in the United States, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure where I got that. It was probably on the History Channel, history.com. So,
So now you all depressed us now with that.
yeah, I think it has something to do with,
No.
what I was reading about, how Trump's trying to get rid of all the immigrants, and it's really going to hurt everyone in this country.
Yeah.
And it has to do with life expectancy because we're all living longer now, and people, Americans, not only Americans, all around the world, people are having less children, and the labor force just isn't going to be there, or the people to pay into Social Security. And those immigrants that are coming in, whether they're legal or illegal, are paying into Social Security. And they're really keeping us afloat right now. And they get rid of them. So they said the ratio of working age to retirement age adults is on its way of becoming a crisis. So, like, we don't want to be shooing out.
Thank you, Peggy.
those,
You made me all happy again.
Well,
no, I know. Yeah,
You have to pay attention to what's going on, and the bigger picture, but also smaller picture. Pay attention to what's going on in your communities too, and locally. Just pay attention.
Yeah. Pay attention and voice your opinion too.
And just be present. I had something interesting happen. I think I mentioned to you ladies that I'm starting to take more of an active role in our local community, and I said I got to start seeing what's going on in local governments, and I just said let's start locally with school boards. So interesting. When I went to a school board meeting in December, which was pretty well attended at the time, I think I probably told you there was one woman who got up and started spewing obviously hate message about immigrants and concerns what the school was doing, and in order to get to speak you have to give a card in advance to the school board with your name on it, and they announce who you are, and and she did it in a way that you could tell her political affiliation, but it was really a hate message to
It was
immigrants.
about the kindergarten giving
Pre-K.
Right, I think you brought it up at the last.
Oh, did I?
I think because I know the story,
Okay.
so you must have brought it up at the last one.
Well, fast forward, I went to a meeting just this Thursday again because they were deciding, I just want to start attending if I can be there, and you get the minutes, from the last one.
Okay.
And the minutes were several pages long, and they talk about everybody who spoke. That woman's name and what she spoke about was not in the minutes.
Oh, really?
They just deleted her whole thing from the record.
Why do you think
In a way, I think that's good.
No,
Because of what she said.
Yes, it's good. No, she shouldn't say, but she said it. It's part of the record. Why should they be editing a public forum?
No, I think it should be in it.
And people should know about who this person is.
Right.
Part of your community.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, if I had not been there,
is there maybe one of their law, rules is that if you don't want it in the minutes, that you can request that it not be there?
I don't know.
You know.
I'm not sure, and
but she was racist, and
she was, but they listed everybody else's name and who spoke, but not hers. And I go, how? So pay attention is what I'm trying. The point is, let's pay attention before they edit out to see only what they want people
we're
to
changing
see.
history.
Anyway, I thought it was interesting.
I do have a question. This is gorgeous.
Oh,
yes.
I want you to tell me about it.
Oh,
I love it.
So is that tucked in, or it has a button over here?
No, I tied it in the back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's so cute.
So this was actually made by my sister-in-law, Anne, Niall's sister, his oldest sister.
Yeah, we would like one.
She's so talented. She gave this to me a few years ago.
It's beautiful.
She's made me another one to it.
Oh, it's nice.
I think I wore the other one on here a while back. It's green.
Yeah, I've seen that one too. That is very nice.
Yeah, so she's made it, and I love it. And because you could wear layers. Like right now, I'm just wearing something thin.
Yeah.
But if you get a little warm, you can.
I know.
And you can wear it lots of different
too,
ways too, which was really cool.
She does a beautiful job.
She really does.
She really does, and I love the
Very
colors.
nice.
So thank you, Anne.
And we hear you watch our podcast too, so
Yeah.
She
Thank
does.
you.
She watched our
So
podcast.
thank you.
She's a very good reader as well.
Yay!
Is Judy partially cut off in that, or am I seeing it?
A little bit.
Okay, you want to get the full effect of my beautiful.
That's right.
Yes,
That's right.
Definitely. Want me to shift over?
Okay.
Yeah. How is that now? A little better?
Yeah.
Is it? Do you want me to go and make an adjustment? You pour the one. I'm going to check that out.
You got it. Yeah, that's all good.
So this wine was actually given to me as a gift over the holidays.
Oh, nice.
Oh no, let me do more. This is not my glass. From my mom.
Oh,
and I was like, first I was like, why am I getting wine? She knows I'm not drinking. But then, I realized it was likely to share with you ladies over the podcast.
Thanks, Carmen.
That's very nice.
Oh no, I spilled it. I'm so sorry.
Oh my
goodness.
No. You've ruined everything.
You ruined Christmas.
All over my nose.
Just don't.
Do you want a napkin?
Just don't get it on your sweater. On your.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get it on my sweater. Just a little bit.
Hey, Sherlock.
Okay, you might have had this one before. This is called Josh. Have you heard of Josh?
I like Josh Cellars. I think their wines are very nice and they're reasonably priced too.
I guess I'm on my hand. And so, but this is not just ordinary Josh. This is Josh Reserve from 2021, bourbon barrel aged.
Oh,
okay. As a Cabernet Sauvignon.
Smells good.
Charred oak barrels. So, what are we toasting to today, ladies?
Okay.
How about when this airs? It's going to be around Martin Luther King Day.
Right.
So
we tape, as you guys know, ahead of time.
Yes. Yes. So Martin Luther King and everything that he did for the civil rights movement.
Equality, and freedom
That's
for everyone.
right.
That's were his words. He had the audacity to believe that people everywhere are deserving of 3 meals a day for their bodies, education and culture for their minds, and dignity, equality, and freedom for their spirit.
I like that.
Here, here.
One of my favorite quotes of his.
I love that you remember these quotes.
Smells good. All right, so while you sip it, and I'm not.
So friggin' good.
Okay, good. I'm glad it's a good one.
This is good.
Well done, Mom.
I'll take this one home instead.
No! Okay. Confronted me as like.
So the flavor notes, what you should be tasting, are aromas of red fruit, are backed by powerful scents of black peppercorn, my favorites. On the palate, the wine features flavors of raspberry, coffee, and vanilla. Bold tannins lead to a long, smooth finish.
It is a long finish. I like this. I need to take a picture of that label.
Okay, but
let me get my phone.
And let me look at the alcohol, because I need
Look out.
It's the other one. I need a flashlight.
Yeah, hold on. I should get here to turn it on and off. Okay. Okay, so
I'm not looking.
All right, I see it now.
Okay.
So, what would you ladies say is the alcohol content?
Oh, this one here, I'm going to say it's 13 and a half.
Okay.
I was going to say that. So now
No,
I can't.
yes, you can.
Now I
feel like
can't.
we're so close together.
And I'm a
French. French. All right, I also say 13 and a half.
It is 14 and a half.
Oh, like the last one.
Yeah.
Peggy's really going to take this one home.
Yeah. No, but I'm going to take a picture of the label
okay.
How
if
many
you don't mind.
wildflowers?
Oh, this is like 6 wildflowers.
Wow.
I really like
I don't
this
think
one.
you've ever given them one a 6.
No, especially when 5 has always been the highest.
I know. I know.
Let me see.
I really like it.
So,
I have to move over
what's that?
here.
What's
It
the
feels
price
squashed.
point?
Oh, this I'm
fancy.
gonna say it's a reserve. It's Josh. I'm gonna say it's $21.99.
Well, number 1, I'd give it 5 wildflowers.
Oh, but that's right. Sorry.
That's okay. And number 2, I will say, Josh, $24.99.
$22.99, which I don't think is bad, and the
Yeah,
taste
no.
is delicious.
No, it's
Yeah.
very good, and it's a reserve. And I know Josh, it's very reasonable because
Yes.
I buy them sometimes too.
Yeah.
So, but this is a very nice one. I'll definitely look for this.
Yay.
It's
My
not the
next
hot
order.
chocolate that I had picked.
Aren't you glad we talked her out of that?
No, can I gotta just say, I thought I was doing the beverage, and I know that, we've heard how alcohol causes cancer and stuff and all this stuff, and I'm like, and I thought you mentioned it a couple times, you weren't drinking, and I was like, well, I'll surprise them. I'll buy different kinds of hot chocolate, and I'll have that as an option. And the two of them, they look at it and they're like, oh. Oh.
No.
And then number 1, I was wrong because I'm not doing the beverage, so they took care of it. So there you go.
But
So
that's
I'm
okay.
happy. I'm happy that they.
Yeah, this
did
is quite good.
Good. Well, feel free. Why don't
Thank
you
you
pour a
very
little bit
much.
more for yourself while I do. 'Cause
Wow,
I'm also
Peggy,
doing
you
the
finished
Wow, the
your-
bottle is heavy.
It is. Oh, here, you can even take mine if you want.
The bottle, feel how heavy that
It
is.
is.
That is heavy. Wow.
It's a lot
Yeah.
of glass.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also doing the book today, too.
Yes.
Yes,
It's
you
just
are.
it's just a
This is
Judy
about
day.
me today. So thank you for joining. Okay. So I'm doing a fiction book that I finished reading a few days ago. It's by Jonathan Franzen. Have you ever heard?
Of him?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
he's quite famous.
Yes.
Oh, okay. To be honest, I
I'm
did
trying
not
to
know.
remember
The
the corrections.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's him.
Yeah.
This book is
And-
called Crossroads,
Yeah.
and it came out in 2021 by Picador Books. Now, the reason why I'm hesitant, but I likely will leave Facebook, is because I really get a lot of recommendations for reads from one of my favorite literary book places. I've mentioned it before, the Modern Literature Society. Love the selections that and the authors that they throw my way. And this was an author that they kept talking about, was John Franzen, different titles that he wrote. He's
Yeah.
got several. And when I was in the Barnes & Noble, actually for your book signing,
Oh, right,
for
okay.
before she was a Finley, after the event was over, I went upstairs to see. I was like, well, let me see if they have any of this Franzen guy. And lo and
He
behold,
was always a big seller in the bookstore.
yes, I don't know. He never crossed my path before.
Yeah.
So I read it. It's about 600 pages, nearly, but it went quickly for me. I think I read this in about a week.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Because he's a
You're
very
a busy woman too, so I'm
Yeah,
impressed.
I know.
well. I had New Year's Day off too, and that was something.
You stay up.
So he writes very well. He would be more of what I call like a literary
Yeah.
writer, and I could see why people were talking about it and why he's recommended on this site. This book appeared, interesting, and I didn't know it at the time, on one of President Obama's top 13 books of 2021.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know about it until today when I was just looking up, because I don't like to read reviews before I read it. Like, the reviews on the Facebook, I just skim, like I don't get into the plots or anything, or, I just like say, I have a lot of people talk about this, maybe I should read it. So when I looked it up today just to see if I was kind of in the ballpark, I learned that this was intended and still intended to be part of a trilogy.
Oh, okay.
So this is his first kind of family book. And I thought about you, Carol, because it's got a very religious religious background in this family. This deals with the Hildebrands. They're based in the Midwest. This is set in like the early 70s, so Vietnam plays very heavily during this time. And the main character, Russ Hildebrand, is a minister. His wife, Marion, and they lives there obviously too, and they have 4 children, mostly teenagers. I think the youngest is about 9, maybe, like around that age. So each chapter is told from the perspective of one of the family members. So that was different. So you get the narrator change, except for the youngest, and he doesn't get a voice in here, which I felt that he should have, because there was a lot of dysfunction in this novel.
He's probably going to be in the next one.
He might, and maybe, you're right, because I didn't know it was a trilogy, and I felt cheated, by it. I was like, what's his perspective here with all of this going on? So hopefully, Mr. Franzen.
See, that's making you want to get the next one.
Yeah, I probably will read it. So anyway. It doesn't take long over a period of time. It takes place, you open up in Advent, one section, it's divided into 2 sections, Advent and Easter.
Oh, okay.
And that's it. And you see, you're introduced to the family in Advent, when the minister is dealing with a personal crisis. Him and his wife's marriage is falling apart. He's contemplating cheating with a very young, recent divorcee, cute little thing, because his wife now, who used to be very young and pretty, is now dopey, frumpy, and just kind of, invisible. And his kids are grown for the most part, and they all have their own relationship with religion. Some are falling away from it, some are recently coming together with it, or some never believed in it at all, right? And it's very, very interesting, and they explores the whole dynamics of God, the devil, and the kind of sometimes irrational thoughts we have with that and how we feel about it. And I thought it was very good. I don't want to give. It's hard to say anything without giving anything away.
Right.
But Russ is struggling with a lot of his self-perceptions, and so realizing that first he's angry because he feels like he's being treated like he is insignificant and a fraud in the church, because his younger, more hip kind of youth director comes in, and the teens are all kind of flocking to him, and he feels insignificant. And you see him.
Is he the minister?
Yeah, and which I think is fueling this feelings of trying to be with a younger woman, and and find himself. He starts dressing younger and acting younger, and
that sounds really interesting.
Right, and then he realizes, in a way he is a fraud, and then there maybe was a lot of truth to what he was being. He wasn't ready to hear, what the congregation, the youth was really telling him, or really seeing. He had these ideas, like for example, he worked with the Native Americans out in Arizona. It's also set in Arizona too, where the youth ministry, they go out once a year, and so in Easter they bring out, they go out to Arizona and work on the reservations. He got enamored as a young 20-something-year-old with Native Americans out on this reservation. So every year they bring the church youth out there to build a ramp or build the school or build new water source. And he realizes towards the end he was so falsely, he didn't see the big picture of what was really going on there. Only his idea of what he thinks was going on there. And then also you see Marion. Marion has a lot of secrets. Marion, when you meet her, is frumpy wife, dumpy. And you learn she's keeping big secrets. She was the opposite.
Need to borrow this.
Oh, please. She was keeping big secrets from when she was 20, and you see her go full circle. Back to how she was. Wow. And I don't want to go in too long, but I thought, and I didn't see this reviewed anywhere, at least I saw, but one of the characters, Perry, who is struggling with mental health, he's about 15 in this book, 16. He echoed Holden Caulfield to me of Catcher in the Rye.
Okay.
And maybe it's because I had just reread Catcher in the Rye not too long ago that I was like, I'm getting some of this in him. So anyway, very well developed characters, very good writing. I wrote down 4 Wildflowers at least for me because I still felt a little cheated a little bit, and there was one scene in there where I thought it seemed a little rushed, and that was initially, and I can't say what it was, but it was towards the end, and it involved Russ and the other woman, you know, who he's infatuated with.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I can't believe I said rushed in a 600-page book.
Right.
But knowing now that it's meant to be a trilogy,
Right.
maybe that explains something
Right.
for me. But I will definitely read the next ones when they come out. So definitely, if you'd like to borrow it,
I
you are
would
more
love
than
to
welcome
borrow
to.
it. Yeah, this is right
I'm
up my
surprised he
alley.
never came into my radar before.
Yeah, I know the
Yeah.
Corrections was a
Right.
very, very big book.
That's the book that a lot of
yeah.
people recommended
Yeah.
on the site. They just didn't
Yeah.
have it in the bookstore when
Yeah.
I went, so
Yeah.
I just grabbed
Yeah.
this one. But
Yeah.
yeah, so there you go.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I really wonder what his Jonathan Franzen's history is as in religion. Yeah, I'm curious because
I thought you would be
it
interested.
does
Yeah.
sound very. I'm sure he's so much better than I am, but of little faith, it sounds like the different points of view.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, that sounds very interesting.
It is very interesting.
One of Elizabeth Strout's book, one of her older books, Abide With Me, that has to do with a pastor in a small town in Maine and his relationship with his wife and all of the congregants, and
Okay.
that was interesting.
Abide with me.
Yeah, yeah.
Abide with me. Okay. Very
It's
nice.
not 600 pages.
I thought it was going to take me. Really, I
Yeah.
liked it if I kept reading.
Yeah.
I kept
Yeah.
going back to
Yeah.
it and reading longer than I usually did.
Yeah.
Well, the next one on my list, because I just finished reading through the manuscript that I'm working on. I was like, okay, now I can read Wednesday's Child. But now I might read this first. I don't know.
Well, Wednesday Child is short. You could read like one little story at a time.
Oh, that's true.
You know,
Yeah,
it's a
me
short
too.
story. It's a good read, actually.
Thank you, Judy.
And on
You're
next podcast, I'll have a book, and you're going to like the book that I'm going to
Oh, am I?
review. It's called The Frozen River,
Okay.
and it's about a midwife.
Oh,
And
No more.
she was a real person, I found out, so I just ordered the biography of her.
Nice.
Yeah, so,
Very interesting.
See what happens when you read.
uh-huh.
Yes.
No,
It
seriously.
does, it opens up worlds.
It's just
Well,
crazy.
you know, and I'm sorry again, but
No.
you're right. I'm sorry because you read more, you want to learn more. Like for example, in the spring, my family and I were going to Paris, and I told the ladies, we booked the trip, blah blah blah, and we're staying in a certain part of Paris, and I made me want to read some novels or books set in Paris, so that in a
Yeah.
So I was looking around. Couldn't really find anything, but so I looked through my Modern Literature Society, and they had recommended an old novel, like from the 15, like something, but that really held up. So I got it from 8 Books just the other day from an old bookseller called actually Blue Stockings, which came from Pennsylvania. And I'm going to read that too and bring it, and so that I'm versed. And it's actually set in the Latin Quarter, which is where we're staying.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that ironic?
Wow.
And I said, look at this.
Very cool.
There was a book, we can't keep on talking about books.
Sure we can.
But, what the hell was it called? The Little Paris Bookshop? But it was a man on a boat on the Seine who he had a bookstore on it.
Oh, that's
and like
so
when you
cool.
came in, he looked at you and he knew what book you needed.
Oh my
I
God.
can't
is this the
remember
book?
it.
Oh, you
yes,
have to find
yes. I'll figure it out.
I would like to read that.
Yeah, but anyway, I have the subject, and just right up front, I'm going to tell you that I didn't realize when I started writing this all down that when this podcast comes out, it's not going to be January 11th. And my subject is about this day in history on January 11th.
Oh gosh.
But you know what? But
That's
I
okay.
found some interesting things here. First of all, January 11th is National Step in a Puddle and Splash Your Friends Day. And they're still trying to figure out how that originated.
Yeah, really. So weird.
Yes.
That is weird.
And then is National Human Trafficking Awareness Day also.
Okay.
There's been a lot of
yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah. So anyway. But anyway, in 1922, the first human received insulin injection to treat diabetes.
Oh, wow.
on January 11th. And the first person to receive an injection of hormone insulin for diabetes, a disease for millennia, was considered a death sentence. So that was on January 11th in 1922. It was one of the most consequential in medical history, saving millions of lives.
Definitely.
In 1964, the Surgeon General announced definitive link between smoking and cancer. I don't have to read all this. Government report came out in the 1930s. Physicians were noticing an increase in lung cancer cases. Cigarette companies spent the next decade lobbying to keep them legal. California became the first state to ban smoking in enclosed public places in 1995. That's how long it took them.
Do you have information, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but when they took cigarettes off the air, off advertising?
No, that wasn't part of this, no.
I'm just curious.
So, yeah.
I remember when
they did it with beer and cigarettes, no more advertising.
Yeah.
I think that was in the
Beer?
80s. Yeah, they took down the beer commercials too. You don't see beer commercials anymore.
Budweiser.
Yes, you do.
Budweiser.
No more beer
I
commercials.
see the Clydesdale.
Yeah.
Christmas time.
Super Bowl. There's all beer.
Yeah, there's always
commercials.
beer commercials.
Yeah,
I think
there's
it's just.
still
Well, there are
And then Sam
regulations
Adams,
about
my
it.
cousin from Boston. Yeah, that's a Sam
On
Adams.
TV?
On TV.
Yeah, on TV.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just
I thought
cigarettes.
that they took off the beer commercials.
No, there's
No.
still
Oh.
beer commercials.
Well, I know because there was a big outcry about it because they were focusing on young people. So and the same with the cigarettes.
Maybe they changed the type of commercials.
Yeah,
that
maybe.
could be.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, so
But I do remember.
by
when the
2023,
Marlboro,
more than
yeah.
25 states have now passed similar laws.
Okay.
So in all these states, that's a lot. That's not a lot of states.
How many?
Say it again.
And so this is about smoking in public places in
Right.
1995. By last year, more than 25 states have done it. But so there's states where you can still go into a public place, an enclosed public place, and
I
smoke.
think so. I think on the documentary Will and Harper, when they were out west somewhere, people were smoking in the pub. I think
Yeah.
he even made a comment like, "Oh, I guess you can smoke in here." So
Yeah.
I feel
That would be weird to me. You're right.
Oh my
It's true.
God,
It would be
yes.
very weird. I thought it was everywhere. Look at me. I learned something new.
I wouldn't even go in. Remember that day?
yes.
But right here in town in Farmingdale, there
Yeah.
was a bar restaurant, and Carol and I were going to go in there and eat, and we opened up the outer vestibule door, and you could smell the cigarettes.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to smoke in New York
Right,
in
right.
any
Right.
public place, so outdoor or indoor.
Right.
You're not allowed to smoke in a state park or.
Well, you can smoke outdoors.
Yeah, you could be outdoors, but you have to be a certain amount of feet
Like you
away
can't
from
do
the
it like
front
in the-
door.
Right.
Like-
Stadiums or anything
exactly.
like
I
that.
mean, I
No.
remember working at Borders in the city, and so many staff members would go out on the
Oh
sidewalk.
gosh, it's true. Remember, or
And-
hang out the dock in the back. You
Yeah,
know?
and
I
was
used
just
to go down, me and Ken Butcher
know.
used to walk down by Office Max
Oh,
and
that's right.
smoke because it was a big wind tunnel, so we used to go
quit.
around the corner.
Peggy quit.
You did,
I
yeah.
just
did.
want to make that very clear.
I did.
But yeah, no, but they also, in Park Avenue in the city, they put things on the ledges so that people wouldn't sit there to sit and smoke. They put that so because
Oh,
people were
okay.
sitting there and hanging out and smoking, and then you'd have the cigarettes on
Yes,
the
that's
sidewalk. It was just so nasty.
Yeah, it is a nasty habit. so.
Yes.
In 1935, Amelia Earhart made her first solo flight from Hawaii to California.
Oh, okay.
And in 1984, Michael Jackson was nominated for 12 Grammy Awards for Thriller.
Thriller.
He ended up winning 8 of them. So in 1908, Teddy Roosevelt designated the Grand Canyon a national monument, and today more than 5 million people visit every year.
Yeah.
So,
How many national parks have you visited, would you say?
well, not a lot of them.
I
I've been
haven't
to
either.
Shenandoah, I think, might be a national park in Virginia.
I don't know if I've ever
Shenandoah.
been. I don't
I've
know
been
if I've
to
ever
Never
been.
been to a
The
national-
Grand
I'm trying to think,
Canyon.
maybe.
I've been there.
Um,
I've been to Yosemite.
Oh, okay.
I haven't been there or Yellowstone.
Okay.
So, Yeah.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah, not a lot.
Because I think that, I
Yeah.
heard somebody on Jeopardy a couple nights ago or last night, whatever, saying how he visited every national park.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, one of those.
Maybe we should take the Wildflowers on the road.
That would be so much fun.
Do it for the national park.
I'll try.
Let's do it. We should do something like that.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. And
And
maybe
I mean,
in the
look,
summer.
You hear
We have
it
an
here.
easy setup.
Exactly. You hear it here,
We'll
folks.
have to think of something.
You know what?
interesting
If
to
you're
do.
watching, let us know.
We just made it up now.
You know what? We could start out easy. We could start out
Yes.
like go into Washington D.C.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought. I
to
thought
the
for sure.
capital.
I thought you were going to say something like going out east, but you're
Wait, do
taking
we-
us to
yeah.
Washington.
Do we want to go there now, or do we want to wait?
Well, I would do it in the spring or the summer's too hot there, but I would do it in the spring. I don't
4
care. We
years
could go
now?
there.
Now? Yes.
Now.
Woo, she's pounding. Okay, go ahead.
1978, Toni Morrison wins the National Book Critics Circle Award, which I think now is called the National Book Award. I think it's the same award for Song of Solomon.
Yeah.
The award brought her national attention for the first time, even though she had already published 2 successful books, The Bluest Eye
So it can
in
happen.
1969
Yes, it
and Sula in 1973. She went on to win the Pulitzer Prize for Literature in 1993. She was the first African American to win the award, the Pulitzer, as well as the first American woman to win in more than 50 years.
And I met her. She came to the Park Avenue store.
That's an honor.
Yeah.
Well, I say I met her. She came
Yes,
in.
yeah,
But
I know.
it wasn't one-on-one.
Yeah. You were in the room where it happened.
I like that.
You can still say it.
Yeah, no.
Okay, in 1927, Charlie Chaplin's
There he is again.
16 million, I can't even read my own handwriting, something million estate is frozen after his second wife, Lita Gray Chaplin, filed for divorce.
Good for her.
She was 16 and he was 35 when they married after he impregnated her. She claimed she endured cruel and inhumane treatment during their marriage. He actually tried to force her to have an abortion, an illegal abortion. It wasn't legal.
Right. As you learned from Madame Restell, that happened quite a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I stopped after that. I mean, the month of January in U.S. history I went on to. So things that happened in January. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed in January of 1863. Okay. The discovery of gold in California was 1848.
Oh.
Roe v. Wade was passed in 1973. Yes, I know. The birth of Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes.
International Holocaust Remembrance Day. The first New Year ball dropped in New York City in 1908.
Wait, they did that in January? So it'd be
January 1st. Yeah.
Okay.
In 1908. The first U.S. computer built in Pennsylvania was 1946. And what does that say? Oh, a bronze bust of Martin Luther King was revealed in the Capitol Rotunda in D.C. It was the first statue of an African American in the building. Isn't that sickening? 1986.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's disgraceful.
It really is. We're such a horrible people.
It was January 16th, 1986. I put WTF after it.
What does that stand
Oh,
for?
God. All right. Barack Obama, the first black president, 1/20/2009. Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman elected to Congress, 1/21/1969. And the first 747 airplane from New York to London was in January 22nd, 1970. So,
This is some good
January,
yeah, January.
I mean, it's so
happen.
easy to take things for granted. You think things are always, like my dog, right now. No, but like.
And you think there was a first time that thing happens.
Yeah.
And that person, like Shirley Chisholm, she paved the way for women in general, let alone African American women. You know, to be in Congress or in any kind of political position. And Martin Luther King, I mean, what he did.
Yeah. He had to.
It's a national holiday now in all the states.
Right.
It used to be like Arizona didn't recognize it. There were states, but now, as of I don't know what year,
they were not united.
I don't know if this is changing the subject a little bit, but I know that was it Nassau or Suffolk County didn't want to have the flags that had
Nassau didn't want to, which surprised me.
For Jimmy Carter.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was Suffolk.
No, it was Nassau.
I thought it was Suffolk too.
No, I think it was Suffolk.
No, look it up, because I saw it on the news and I was like, I would have expected this from Suffolk. And I looked for Suffolk, and Suffolk did.
Oh, okay.
But Nassau would not.
So then it was Blakeman.
It's Blakeman.
Oh, he's an asshole.
And I go, how disrespectful. I go,
really
politics
is.
aside, I go, this is a president. You're supposed to
And he was
fly
an
your flag
honorable man. It wasn't like he's a felon like the president-elect.
I know.
This is an honorable, good person.
Why would they not
and I didn't mean to change the subject, but
No,
I was just like
I'm
what
glad
you were
you
saying.
did. Actually, that's why I did. Actually, that's the one thing I did on Facebook. I changed my profile picture to a half flag.
I saw that.
Because I said,
saw that.
this is ridiculous. I go, why aren't it was after the Nassau story that I read. Because I was so angry with that. That's why I know it was Nassau.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But I was surprised. You're right, because it seems like something Suffolk would do.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I thought it was so.
But I'm not
that's
surprised with
interesting.
Blakeman. He's got to go, this guy.
Yeah.
He's
So many of them have to go.
So many of them.
Yeah.
The one from Staten Island who now is going to have she's a cabinet. He's assigning her to a cabinet.
Is this Nicole Maliatakis?
Yeah.
No, not Maliatakis. Is it Maliatakis?
Yeah, the one from Staten Island.
Yeah.
Not to change the subject. Because there's so much I could say. But anyway, that was very interesting, Peggy.
And it's not January 11th, but today it is.
Yes, I know. Today is January 11th. You'll see this probably January 17th.
What's not on your list? It's my dog Pongo's birthday.
Happy birthday, Pongo! And how old is Pongo?
He's double digit. He's 10.
Wow.
Yay, Pongo. And my dog's sitting Sadie, and she's getting very vocal right now.
Yes, so
very vocal. But you were a good girl.
You know, it's a good.
Thank you for watching.
So what's your sister-in-law's name?
Anne.
So Anne, Carol and I,
No. Peggy likes green.
I know.
I like green and yellow.
I appreciate you watching. That's all I have
thank
to
you
say.
for watching.
She's awesome.
Thank you.
And probably Alvaro will watch too. Thank you, Alvaro. So my Spanish teacher.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm not a better student.
And we know we haven't been as consistent, but we're going to try.
Yes, we're getting.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Sadie, what is your problem? You had your dinner.
I know.
It's okay.
She just wants attention.
Oh, she always does. Bye.